All right, if you're getting ready to put your house on the market or trying to buy a new one, some big changes to how real estate transactions are made are coming soon. The National Association of Realtors had just settled multiple class action lawsuits last week, and experts say it'll change how real estate agents get paid in the future. And if you sold a house since 2015, you might be entitled to get money back. Attorney Marissa Katz, who is one of the attorneys behind the very first class action lawsuit on this topic from the Twin Cities, filed in Illinois, that sort of sparked this entire revolution of rules in real estate. I'm not overselling that. That's accurate, right? Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Good to be here. Thank you.
So right out of the gate, what do you think the problem with the way that homes are sold is?
Well, the essence of the lawsuits and what they challenged was the National Association of Realtors has a rule in place that basically requires the seller to offer the commission to the buyer broker as a condition to list their house on what's known as the multiple listing service, or more commonly referred to as the MLS. Mm-hmm. So what you're essentially saying or telling to the seller is, if you want to list your house and if you want to sell it, you have to pay both the listing broker commission and the buyer broker commission.
Okay. So we spoke to Josh McFall. He's the CEO of Minnesota Realtors, who says basically commission rates have never been fixed as the lawsuit sort of claims. Here's what he said. Oh, do we have that soundbite, you guys? The first one from...
Realtors have never nor continue to set commissions. They've always been negotiable. There is no standard non-negotiable fee that's set by the National Association or by the Minnesota Association or by their local associations of realtors or multiple listing services.
Okay, so essentially he's saying they're never fixed and that people can always sort of negotiate these things, which are accurate. I mean, I remember, dealing with realtors and they say, well, no, this is what I charge, and we could talk 2.7, 3.2. But essentially, how do realtors get paid, and how will this possibly change in the future?
In practice, it hasn't, or it isn't really negotiable, in the sense that because the seller is paying both commissions for the listing broker and the buyer broker, that results in the steering of the buyer broker to the house.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's not really negotiable because the buyer broker isn't going to bring their client to a house that's going to offer a lower commission to that broker.
So it seems like there's like two parts to the lawsuit. One is that there's always this system where the buyer gives a check, a mortgage check, right? I go to the bank, I get a mortgage, and I give the seller a check for the house. Then the seller splits part of their profits and gives it to the representatives who split it, right?
The seller pays both.
The seller pays.
Commissions, yes.
And if the seller always pays, and if a realtor, if you're buying a house, says, yeah, I charge 2.7, but you don't have to pay me because the seller's going to pay me, is the essence of the lawsuit that simple act alone negates competition. As a buyer who's told that it's like free sometimes, like you don't have to pay me because they're going to pay me.
Right.
You don't have any real reason to be like, oh, well, let's lower your rate.
Right.
Is that accurate?
To say
Are we getting that?
To say that the buyer broker can tell the buyer that they work for free isn't accurate.
Not free, excuse me. Yeah, but
And in fact, the industry has changed their rules since the lawsuits have been filed to no longer represent to the buyers that their services are free. And that's because they aren't. Again, it's totaling at about 6% commission combined both sides, that each side splits evenly. Mm-hmm. And that gets baked into the sale price of the home.
So the other thing too was that on the MLS, where all the properties are listed, they would have a number, a percentage sometimes that would say, this is how much a buyer agent will get if they sell this home. So a higher commission will bring potentially more people to that home. Was that the idea?
That's correct. It would result in steering. And
well, some would call that incentivizing, though.
Incentivizing, but at the same time, if these were really negotiable commissions, then why do Americans pay the highest commissions in the world? Countries with comparable real estate markets are paying 1% to 3%, and in this country, they're paying 5% to 6%.
Okay, so if these rules change now, and the buyers are suddenly going to have to pay their agents if they want, and then the sellers are going to pay their, and you split it. Everybody just pays their own.
That's right.
What do you think is going to change?
It's going to be a more competitive marketplace. And so buyers are going to be empowered and in the position, as will be sellers, to negotiate the commission rates with the brokerage companies representing them. And it will result in a fairer marketplace.
And you
Right-
think prices may come down or commissions may come down.
Absolutely. Right now, Americans spend about $100 billion a year in real estate commissions, and economists project that as a result of these settlements, consumers are going to save $30 billion a year in commissions. That's huge.
Yeah, you put it that way. Okay, well, McFall, who we heard from a second ago, says that he thinks that this could actually hurt home buyers who, if the rules change, may need to come up with more money to pay their own representation right off the bat. Here's what he told us.
While there has been some reporting about, this is going to make things better for buyers, we kind of think that it's going to make things a bit harder. First-time home buyers are already scraping together that down payment that they're making on their first home. And then we would be asking them to pay on top of that for their agent, which has always been a part of the transaction, that the offer to the seller would be that the seller was paying those fees.
All right, so he's saying that it might hurt the home buyer who has to come up with more money. Your thoughts?
I disagree, and I think what we'll see as this plays out over time is that buyers are going to have a number of different options. First, and what we've seen actually since online listings have been publicly available
Yeah.
in the age of the internet, is buyers find homes that they want online. But if they decide down the road that they found the home they like and that they need assistance with the paperwork, they can negotiate that commission, and they can negotiate what's a fair price for the value of the services offered to affect the sale of the home.
All right.
So, the other option is a buyer can hire an attorney. Attorneys are trained negotiators in contracts. And of course, this is the largest transaction in a consumer's life. And an attorney will help you out with that process for a lot less than the current commissions right now.
Well, Marissa, thank you so much for being on here. And
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, we appreciate you helping clear this up. And boy, a lot of things are going to change here. So again, this is a class action lawsuit. You can call the number on your screen right there if you want to find out if you are a possible member of this class. And there's like 10 million around the country, right? Anybody who sold a home in certain markets since 2015. You'll also get something in the mail after a settlement is approved, potentially in July, by the courts.
That's correct.
That's a lot.
It's a
All right.
lot.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Marissa. Appreciate it.